Before we get started, let's shout out this week's Instagram pop quiz answers. If you would like to participate in the weekly pop quiz and have a chance to be featured in the next video, head on over to Instagram and follow me at VLS Hair Design. Make sure you turn on post notifications because the quizzes are posted at random throughout the week. And quick shout out to the notification squad. I've seen y'all in the comments posting your first, second, and third. I appreciate you guys so much. So keep on keeping on and let's get started with this video. Let us all welcome back to the show, Miss Sheila. Hey girl, hey. So we're only gonna need a couple of items today. These are 18-inch new locks in the color 1B, just a few because we're gonna be practicing. You're also gonna need some spring twists. This is also in the color 1B. These are the 8-inch variety, your nail glue of choice, and of course your crochet hook. For each lock I'm going to show you, I'm only going to be using half of a spring twist. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those apart and put those to the side. If you feel like you need more than half, you're still going to have to pull them apart to fluff them out. So the first method I'm going to show you is the method I've seen consistently across the board, and that is simply just linking the spring twist hair with the new lock. So I'm just pulling it through, so that now I have one half of the strand new lock and then the rest is pulled through the loop at the top, and the other half is the spring twist. Now I'm checking here to make sure that the spring twist is long enough to cover up the lock and the client's natural hair, but you'll see in a minute that I won't have enough, and I'll show you guys how to extend that. But simply all I'm doing is crocheting the looped section, basically the intersection of the lock and the spring twist hair, through the base of the braid that I've already created. And then I'm just going to grab the lock and the braid and then start wrapping it with the spring twist hair. To secure the wrapping, I'm going to make sure that I wrap around the base at least 3 to 4 times before I start going down the length of the lock. And also guys, I always forget to do this. Take rings off if you have any, because the hair will definitely get caught in that. So unfortunately, when I got to the end of this first spring twist wrap, I did not have enough to cover the natural hair. That's no problem, it's an easy fix. We're just going to add another piece of hair and begin wrapping. I started about 3 inches above where I ended the last one, and then I'm going to make sure I stop at least 3 to 4 inches past the client's natural hair. Now adding the nail glue is totally optional, but I do find it adds more security with the lock. Just palm roll it and keep on moving. Now if you're struggling with running out of hair as you are going down, here is a trick to lengthen the spring twist hair and also secure it on the lock so it doesn't slide. I'm simply just going to pull the spring twist through the loop of the lock, and then I'm going to double knot it through the top. Don't worry, I will show you guys this again. With the lock already on the hook, I'm going to grab a small end of the spring twist hair, loop it through once, and then I'm going to grab the end of the spring twist hair again and loop it through that loop we created, and then tie a knot. Not only is this going to secure the spring twist hair so it doesn't slide as you're wrapping at the root, it's also going to lengthen it so you have more to work with. Repeating the same steps I did before, I'm going to pull the spring twist through the base of the braid, but this time I'm going to only pull the very small one through. I'm going to hold the small piece, the braid, and the new lock together and begin wrapping with the long piece of the spring twist. Now as you can see, I had enough hair to go at least 3 to 4 inches past the natural hair length and secure it with my nail glue. Palm roll it and we are done. Now, if you're trying to decide on what length you want, one thing I want to mention is that when you are doing this with the 18-inch locks, because you're stretching the hair as you go down, the lock is going to gain about 1 to 2 more inches of length. So I ended up stretching these first two to about 20 to 21 inches. Now, if you guys caught last week's video, which was super funny, by the way, because I had my poor sweet hubby narrate it for me, and he ended up having us all rolling on the floor laughing. But he tried to show you guys a trick I kind of stumbled upon. I haven't seen it anywhere else, but I picked up on this because I was trying to do my locks and I felt like it was taking me forever because my hair is super duper long. So I came up with this method and it made the process go by way faster, and it also made the takedown much easier. So here's how it goes, you guys. I promise I wasn't gonna leave y'all hanging from last week. So I think we're just gonna call this the folded loop method. I am basically just going to attach a new lock to the middle, the natural hair, and then I'm going to fold the natural hair up on itself and then loop the end through the base of the braid. So the upside of this is that, one, you're shortening the length of the natural hair that you have to wrap. And then 2, you can also extend the length of the lock based on the length of the natural hair by sliding it up and down. So it gives you some versatility while also not having to use as much hair to wrap and spend as much time wrapping. So as I'm demonstrating here, I've already folded it up on itself, and I'm going to hold it securely so that it doesn't slide when I start to wrap. I'm going to slide my spring twist hair through the base of the braid, hold everything securely together, and in here you can also fold up the spring twist to create as much thickness as you want, or you can pull it down so it's not as thick. It's really up to you. But just like the first two, I'm going to securely wrap the base at least 3 to 4 times before I begin moving down the lock. Now, as you can see, I have more than enough hair to cover the natural hair, and I want to wrap as tightly as I can because the idea is that we want this to be a protective style. Everything needs to be tucked away. When I get to the knotted section where the hair is looped, I'm going to be very careful to make sure I cover that all the way up and then keep wrapping. With this way of doing it, you have more than enough room to keep wrapping down the end of the lock, so you know for sure you're not going to be putting glue on your hair if that's the route you're taking, but you also know that your hair is completely covered. Now here's the same demo of that folded loop method, but this time when I pull the end of the natural hair up, I'm just going to wrap it lightly around the base so that it doesn't stick out and it doesn't slide as I'm going to grab my spring twist hair. I also want to point out that this extended the length up to 24, 25 inches or so. So keep that in mind as you are adjusting the hair at the top as far as length goes. Of course, you can always cut the ends, but if you're going for longer lengths, this is a good way to do it without having to add another lock at the end. So I know someone's going to ask and be curious if the direction in which you wrap is going to make a difference. And really the answer is no, as long as you're wrapping tightly. For new locks and spring twists, they typically wrap in the direction going from left to right. So it does make more sense to wrap it in that direction because it keeps the hair from raveling up on itself. But I've tried it both ways and it works just as fine both ways. So I'm going to show you on this last one that you can wrap it the other direction. The only difference is that you will be able to see the line of demarcation between the lock and the spring twist when you're done, because the lock is likely going to be spiraling in the other direction. So that's it for the completed locks, you guys. This is what we're working with. Now I'm going to show you guys how to take them down, because this is my #1 question. I do offer takedowns for locks for my clients, but if you want to do it yourself, it is way easier than you're making it out to be. So here's what you do. All you do is unravel at the root in the opposite direction. Once you unravel it and show your braid, all you have to do is pull your braid from the lock. That's it. I promise that's all you do. You can see that that's what I'm doing here with all of these. Despite the many different techniques that I use, because I started them off in a similar fashion, all I have to do is expose the braid, pull the lock off, and then if it doesn't slide off, if that was the technique we didn't use, just cut it off and the braid is exposed. Now if you want, you can cut the lock at the bottom where you know the glue is, then just completely unravel it from there. That does seem to be a little bit more difficult in some cases, but as you can see with this one, this is the looped one. I just unraveled it, exposed the loop, and then cut the lock off. Easy, simple. That's it. That's a wrap. It's done, you guys. So just unravel in the other direction, expose the braid, cut the lock off, and you are done. With this 4th one, I want you to pay close attention. When I pull the loop out, I'm going to pull the end of the braid, and then that's going to loosen up the loop where the lock is attached. See that? Pull it out, slide it off. That's it. So that completes the video, you guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you guys learned something. If you did, make sure you comment below. What is your favorite technique? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much for participating in the pop quizzes, and shout out again to the notification squad. I appreciate you guys. All of your engagement, whether it's good or bad, or if you agree with me or disagree with me, it's all good for this channel. So again, special thanks to Sheila for popping up and modeling for us today, and we will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.